The government has defended tax and benefit changes that come into force tomorrow, among them changes to the system of tax credits. Labour says that up to 1 million householders could lose tax credits and that families with children may lose on average £500 a year. Here's our chief economics correspondent, Hugh Pym.
At Westminster, the government has set out its deficit reduction plans. Some have already had an impact on households. Now more measures previously announced by the Chancellor will start affecting families from tomorrow, the 6th of April, the start of the new tax year. Kerry Davenport could lose thousands of pounds of working tax credits. She does 20 hours a week in a supermarket. Her husband's unemployed. Under the new rules, she'll have to work 4 hours more to keep the credits, but she can't get those extra hours.
It's going to be really, really difficult for us. It's going to change huge amounts of things in our life. We might have to move because we might not be able to afford to pay the rent anymore.
There's a whole range of tax and benefit amendments which take effect tomorrow, but attention's been focusing on 3 areas where there are changes resulting from specific government policy choices. And as so often, there are winners and losers. The working tax credit changes will affect 212,000 families. They could lose as much as £3,870 a year. Changes to child tax credit will hit 850,000 families. They'll lose £545. But the increase in the income tax allowance will help more than 25 million taxpayers. They'll each gain £42 a year after taking account of inflation.
The biggest beneficiaries from the increase in the tax allowance are those in the middle and the upper middle of the income distribution. The biggest losers from the specific reforms to tax credits tend to be closer towards the bottom of the income distribution.
Can you refer to me?
And Labour's Ed Balls, visiting a children's centre in Leeds, said the policies were penalising those who could least afford it.
I think many people will say this isn't fair at a time when the government's cutting taxes for the very highest earners. Why should families with children be paying for the government's failure on the economy?
You can use a spatula to apply the pressure.
The Prime Minister at a small business in South Wales defended the changes.
All of these decisions are difficult. We've had to take a series of difficult decisions, but the richest 10% in the country are paying 10 times as much towards the removal of the budget deficit as the poorest 10%. That's absolutely right. We need to make sure this is fair and seen to be fair.
Kerry thinks it may not be worth working. She may move on to unemployment benefit. And that's not what the Chancellor had in mind when he was planning the changes for the 6th of April. Hugh Pym, BBC News.
The daughter of a millionaire has been found guilty of 1 charge of burglary and 1 count of handling stolen goods during the